All right, boys. So, apparently gamers are dying out. Yeah. Gaming's dead. Gamers are dead. Let's see what he's got to say. Bellular. Alright, let's see.
Sometimes things feel different, but you can't quite put your finger on why. Well,
True.
Today you're going to find out why, because gaming has changed.
Roblox.
We've got new data that suggests 93% of kids prefer playing games on phones. Not PC, not console, phones.
Yeah, because of convenience,
so,
right?
Remember your boy Wyatt Chang?
Well, yeah, like, of course kids are going to play on phones, right? Because, I mean, a phone is just like this. Like, everyone has a phone, right? So, and you just, like, turn it around and you just do this shit, right? So, yeah. And on top of that, I think games are increasingly becoming, like, pretty good on phones. Like, it's still kind of obnoxious to use on a phone because of, like, the touchscreen. But at some point, they're going to fix that as well. Gaming is just going to get increasingly a lot more advanced on phone, and it will become a lot more popular. And then on top of that, you've got people who don't tend to play games playing games on phones as well, such as like your granddad, your nan, etc., right? Who are playing games like Candy Crush. So it's like everything is taken into account. Now, yeah, he exclusively said children, Gen Z, sure. But I still think this plays a part.
Don't you guys have phones? Oh dear, turns out he was a little bit prescient. But here's another aspect to it. It's how these kids engage with games. Here's a quote. They no longer identify as gamers. They identify as players of a specific game. So it's not that games are a medium that they like, it's that they play Roblox or they play Fortnite. So directionally, based on the real trends that we're seeing, the future of gaming looks like it's people who are fans of one game that probably play it on a phone, which is a bit weird.
Yeah. I don't think it's that strange. Like, I kind of think we've always had this, right? So, like, so I went to school, right? And everyone, and like all the guys I spoke to, they were always playing two games, Call of Duty and FIFA. I don't give a shit about FIFA, and I haven't cared about Call of Duty in like 10 years, since like Black Ops 2, right? But, like, this has always been a thing, and it's probably always going to be a thing, right? So, it's not unique to Gen Z and phones. It's just how people are. Especially now you've got games where you can spend, like, hundreds, if not thousands, in the game just buying fucking skins. And if you've spent £1,000 playing the game, you're more inclined to stay playing the game because £1,000 is a lot to spend on a game. So, like, I think there's more to it than just kids have decided to choose a game.
I don't like it, and it raises a big question.
That's
what
fine,
does it
I don't
mean
really
for
care.
people who prefer what I'll just call traditional gaming experiences? Maybe people like you and me. Okay, so in our last video, we looked at gaming's past and compared it to now, and we talked about the 1983 game crash that leveled the American games industry.
Yeah, I'm not that old.
So
I don't
many
fucking know
standards
about
for
this.
where we are now, but there was a side effect that we didn't talk about, and it's one that's key to gaming's future. You see, when games resurged in America post-1980s game crash, they were sold as toys for children, and that decided the marketing for like the next 40 years. The medium literally grew up alongside its audience. You had Rob the Robot marketed to young boys. Then came G4, Tony Hawk, Call of Duty for the cool teenagers. I was a cool teenager, totally. No, I wasn't. Now, of course, what do we have? Well, we've got cinematic sad dad games like The Last of Us. Yeah, it's grown up with us.
Guys, this is something I do find to be kind of problematic, personally anyway. Like, the games today are not really games. they're like films, right? Like super high pixel quality, graphics, the actors, everything is just like a film, right? But I play games to play games, not to watch a film. It's like the only games I think that are some kind of exception to this is the MGS series. Like Kojima, he gets a pass because it's Kojima, right? No one else gets a fucking pass. No one. No. Stop making fucking films. Make games. Like Dark Souls is amazing. Why? Because it's a game. Like if I play Dark Souls, I am playing a game from start to finish. There aren't fucking 2,000 cutscenes, 20 trillion actors. I don't give a fuck, right? And then like to take this even further, I think that the problem is games take so long now to make that you can go like a period of time with fucking nothing, right? There is nothing to play, just shit, right? But like, and if you go back like I don't know, 10 years, these games took like what 2-3 years to make, but today it takes like 8. So it's just like a period of time of bullshit, and I just want a good game. Just give me a simplistic good game, and stop with the fucking cutscenes. And you also have the other issue as well. Now, guys, this one is even deeper. Games cost so much to make now that these devs don't take risks anymore. It like every game now is the same shit. Everything tries to be Call of Duty. Everything tries to be Fortnite. Everything tries to be tries to be Elden Ring. Like they don't take risks. And what happens is you get a bunch of incompetent devs who don't take risks, who are still fucking incompetent, and they bring us Concord and Gollum. Like, I'm sorry, how incompetent do you have to be to give us Gollum? Fucking Gollum? Of every fucking character in The Lord of the Rings, you choose a Gollum. Oh, wow. How fucking... how insightful. So it's like you've got incompetent devs, a crazy high budget, and a long period of time to make. Like, yeah, of course people are going to change platforms to like phone, because phones, yes, it's always a pay to win slop, but at least you get to play the fucking games, and you know exactly the kind of game you're playing, and on top of that, the games that tend to be the most played on phone are free. Like, they are free to play. Like, Clash of Clans, free. But if you're playing on console or PC, you're going to be paying a lot. 50, 60, 70 pounds for one game that could end up being shit. Like, yeah, I don't blame people for going to phones, especially young people.
You say gaming has always been for everyone. Anyone can pick up a game. A Nintendo game is an example. But
yeah,
the
sure.
culture and the marketing, not so much. It has been targeted. And I want you to think about Battlefield 6 and how it just got revealed. Because they unironically played Limp Bizkit. Yeah, Limp Bizkit.
Guys.
So, go take your medicine if you've remembered this track. And it does kind of show us something. The culture and marketing around the game industry hasn't changed with technology. They haven't changed with demographics. The kids of 2025, they will not be impressed by Limp Bizkit selling a game in the way that maybe
Skibbity toilet, skibbity toilet.
Nostalgic, especially one that needs a $600 console. And why would they be? They have thousands of experiences on their phones. Experiences that are, to them, just as entertaining. Or should I say, to their brain chemistry and systems are just as engaging. Personally, I think there's something to be said for the depth of an experience. But basically, that's what they think games can and should be. And now we've got data, we've got stats to back it up. And
The other thing as well is games are becoming a bit more complicated than games used to be, right? And kids are dumb. How do I know that? Because I was a kid. Do one of you remember in Fallout 3, and at the start you play as a baby, and you have to walk out of like the pen, go over to the book, and open up the book. Well, I played Fallout 3 and I was like 6 at the time. I didn't know what to do. I didn't know I had to go to a book. I quit the game. And then I went and played a game that was straightforward. Turn the game on, play the game. I think the game I played was... It could have been Fallout Vegas. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was. Because in that game, you just turn the game on and you get to play the game. You don't have to find a book. Like, kids are dumb. You need to give them simplicity and not complexity. So, and all these games on phones, they're very simple to understand. You just turn it on and the game's like, press this button, and then kids press the button, shoot gun at dragon. Like, it's simple. Of course kids understand that. But then they come to console and it's like, here's Elden Ring. You need to create a build. If you don't, you're going to die in one hit. What kid's going to... Kids don't want that. It's too complicated.
Well, take your Vicodin, because this is kind of going to hurt. IGN's State of Gaming report frames this as a generational shift, and it does go along with a lot of other data that we've seen. Essentially, Gen X and millennials think of gaming in terms of platform loyalty. That's, the 70s through to the 90s generations. So basically, most of the people watching this video, at least per the demographics I see on YouTube, we're no strangers to tribalism in gaming. That's why we, have a console war or a PC master race. But distinctions between platforms are, of course, completely breaking down. We see that. I mean, the need for a platform is kind of disappearing. We see that in cross-platform games, but younger generations simply do not engage in the same way whatsoever. Here's some stats to make that make sense. 93% of under 13s prefer playing games on their phone. So that's the 2000s to 2010s generation. The cooked generation. Only 15% prefer a core PC. Of course, is very sad. And by PC, it's probably a laptop. Even 32% of millennials now prefer playing on phones. I have to wonder if it's because, well, the torment nexus that is called the world has cooked all of our brains to the point where that's really all that we can latch onto. Convenience. But for those numbers in the 80s and the 90s, well,
convenience is
that's
everything.
What those people have grown up with.
And the other thing, right, is a phone. You need a phone. Like, people are going to call you, text you, right? So paying $1,000 on your phone is going to be a better investment than a computer or a console, especially a console. Like, the entire purpose of like an Xbox or a PlayStation is to play games. A phone, it's something you have to have. So, yeah. I understand why people are just going to play games on phones because it's convenient and they have to have a phone. A console, they're fucking expensive now, right? It's like if you want a PlayStation 5 Pro, just to get a PlayStation 5 Pro and one fucking game, it's almost $1,000. Like, are you fucking kidding me? $1,000 for the console? A PC is $1,000. And a piece and computers are better than consoles in every way except for convenience. Like, I've always been a console player. I switched to PC about a year ago. Like, everything is better except convenience. Like, a console, you just turn on the console, boom, game, click the game, done. But computer, you need to update your Windows, download the graphics driver, update the graphics driver again. Like, you got to keep doing shit that you don't understand. But But then you come back to phones, and it goes back to the convenience of old console games. Just click and play. It's great.
This graph from Matthew Ball's State of Gaming report does help to explain everything as well. Let's look at Roblox as a case study, which of course does mean content warning. Get ready for some real goddamn sheer horror. Roblox has existed since 2007.
So for those who don't know, this game, how can I put this? This game is overpacked with pedos. Yeah. There are a lot of guys who play this game just to talk to kids. It's disgusting, right? And there's been a huge controversy around it in the past, 2 months or something, to where people are trying to expose them for intentionally hiding this fact, right? Because companies don't actually care if children are being groomed on the internet. They just care about this here. This is what they care about. The number. Right? So people are trying to expose this, but they are intentionally trying to cover it up still. It's nasty. And I could be wrong on this. I think it's also now completely banned in China. I think they completely banned it because of the controversy. Because their government, they are strict, but at least they do what's in the best interest of the children of the country, right? And then you come to the West. What's a video game? I'm 85 years old. It's like, oh great. I'm glad you're the one in charge of all the fucking children's devices.
That was the first full year of the Xbox 360, PS3, and the Wii. But it didn't take off properly until 2016. It didn't really explode until an audience fluid in tablets began playing. And then the pandemic kind of changed everything. Mobile play massively increased, but here's the key difference. Unlike the rest of the industry post-pandemic, Roblox kept growing. Yeah, so you know the way we talk about the games crash and all that stuff? Well, maybe that happened in some places, but Roblox, it's the one place where those trends actually held. And it's outperforming everything. This one's crazy.
Yeah, it's massive.
Has the highest concurrent user base ever of a game, with 21.3 million players. It was made by a 16-year-old in 3 days. So, compare your multi-hundred staff AAA studio to a 16-year-old in 3 days, and feel sad. And that might sound alarming. It is alarming. Is this where gaming's going? I mean, we're already seeing Sega and Starbreeze licensing official games in Roblox. Like a Dragon, Payday, those are in Roblox. You could think the industry will coalesce into platform-agnostic mega games, that kids will grow up with them as basically second homes, and that those will wipe out everything else. And I get the fear, and I know why the fear-mongering can work, and there are some things to be afraid of, but
I don't think I agree with this, right? Because, all the people playing Roblox on an iPad and a phone, they're kids and pedophiles, right? But these kids are going to grow up, and then they're going to be like, I don't want to play these children's games anymore. So then they're going to buy a console or a PC because they probably have a job or something now, right? And then they're going to come to the side of games like Elden Ring, and Dark Souls, and fucking and Black Myth, and Call of Duty, etc. So, I don't think the gamers are dying. I think young gamers prefer. Alright, it's kind of like a bell curve, right? So, a curve like this, right? Here, you've got your 10 to 14 years old playing on a phone, right? And then it goes up from there to your 16-year-olds, 25-year-olds, 35-year-olds, right? Playing on PC and console. And then it goes down again to like the 60-year-olds who go back to playing on phones and games like Candy Crush, etc., right? Because you start off dumb, you gain intelligence, and then you become stupid again as you get old. So I think the game is not dying. I think it's just a bell curve.
The thing is, that's already how the games industry works. And I'd say we're already feeling some of the downsides. So what if I told you that Call of Duty and Counter-Strike are basically just Roblox, but for boomers? I don't know why I'm saying Call of Duty and boomers. Let's say Counter-Strike. Yeah, CS is boomer Roblox. Now, it literally isn't in many ways, but what it is a mono game. Because for many of those people, that may as well be the only game that they play. On our other channel, I cover a lot of World of Warcraft because it unfortunately got its claws into me when I was young, and now I can't escape. And to many people, World of Warcraft is basically the only game they need, the only thing they play. Now, every month, we get a new report from Circana, right? This is their engagement report. And every month, what do we see? We see the same 10 games report the highest player counts.
That makes
console
sense.
and PC space. Now, sometimes a cool indie like Peak will punch through, especially in PC. And looking at Matthew Ball's work, he has found the same pattern since 2021, where on PC, 5 games make up 30% of total playtime. Those games are COD, Counter-Strike, Fortnite, League, and Minecraft. The top 10 games, those eat up 50% of playtime on average. What that essentially means is massive concentration. But on consoles, things are even more concentrated. It takes just the top 5 games to hit 50% of total playtime. Those are COD, FIFA/EAFC, Fortnite, GTA, and NBA 2K. The top 10 reach 60% of playtime. So where does everyone else live? The answer is in the margins, 6.5%. What is that number? This will shock you. That is the total playtime for newly released games in 2023. And it was a good year. Just 4 games took half of that 6.5%, which were Baldur's Gate, Starfield, Diablo 4, and Hogwarts Legacy. There's strong games in there, yet only 6.5%.
Those 2 games in there.
Why?
But okay.
Well, it's because only so many people are willing to play those new games. Because much like the kid who only plays Roblox, or maybe the teen who only plays Fortnite, for a lot of people, they only play COD.
Yeah,
they only play EA. They only play CS. And Newsies 2025 report shows something that's also interesting. The number of people playing just 1 to 3 games per year has actually increased consistently over 4 years. That's across Steam, PlayStation, and Xbox. And the times where people do play more PlayStation and Xbox.
Players are becoming increasingly unreachable as annual engagement with 1 to 3 titles. I think the reason for this, again, games take too long to make and they're fucking expensive as shit to make, right? And I think an example to the pricing is Snake Eater. It came out, 2 weeks ago or something? That game is just a simple remaster. And it was £70 to buy that fucking game. It's a remaster. People are not going to buy that. And they didn't, by the way. I think it peaked at 20,000 maybe on Steam. So it's like if you've got pricing, a time, and also devs who don't know what the fuck they're doing. Yeah, people are gonna go back to playing Call of Duty. Like Elden Ring is a game that people would happily step out of this and go and play. Example is Tim the Tatman. He pretty much only ever plays games like Call of Duty and Overwatch, right? Even he tried Elden Ring. Jinxie tried Elden Ring. Kai tried Elden Ring. Like, a good game is going to bring these people out of the 1 to 3 games per year. But we keep getting fucking bullshit. We keep getting lame, boring, overpriced, sloppy shit that nobody wants. So, and here's the other thing, right? I bet you guys in the past few years have found yourself playing old games. you find yourself going back and playing Fallout or fucking the old Call of Duty campaigns or Dark Souls 1, because there aren't any games today that interest you, because it's all just fucking propaganda, boring, unfunny shit, and these devs don't know their audience. So it's like, even us, the hardcore gamers, we do the same fucking thing. It's just we go back to older games instead of the 1 to 3 games. So it's like the concept's the same, but it all comes back to the same cause: boring games.
And the times where people do play more games, those are just when AAAs have a bad year. And that is the closest correlation they've found. Of that 1 to 3 game group in Steam, the majority play Counter-Strike, 37%, or Dota, 10%. So even then, it's still very much a case of mega games. And what we see here is it's not just the kids. No, it's actually the way that multiple industries within the games industry have went. Most players have their game. They might try something else, but they very often don't, and the numbers back it up. Now think about kids playing games on their phones, or teens playing games on their phones. What does that mean for the next generation? What does that mean for people who, according to this research, do play a lot of games and are responsible for, well, at least in Roblox, one of the things that's holding up game industry growth, like literally pretty much the only thing that has continued the COVID trends that all the investor types hope for. Well, those people don't think of themselves as gamers. So what does that mean for the next generation of games? You may have heard of the now departed investing legend Charlie Munger. One of his good lines is, "Show me the incentive and I'll show you the outcome." And what these reports show us is that the incentives are changing because the audiences are changing. Companies that need a larger audience will need to meet people where they are. We're seeing that games like Genshin and Infinity Nikki look like Ubisoft-style mega games.
Yeah, exactly.
But they're launching across console, PC, and phone. Where Winds Meet does the same. That is the new priority. And it's why PlayStation and Xbox both chase subscription models. Different approaches, but same goal. These audiences expect instant access to huge libraries of games, not individual purchases. And this trickles down into design decisions.
Yo, guys,
take a look at EA's release.
I'm going to go off a kind of a rant here about PlayStation, right? I love Game Pass on Xbox, but PlayStation Plus is so fucking shit. So if you buy PlayStation Plus for 12 months, right? I think it's like £40 or £50, right? Now, if you want to play an old game such as Fallout 3, you have to subscribe to PlayStation Classic. But here's the thing. One, you can't subscribe to it separately. You have to upgrade PlayStation Plus to PlayStation Plus Classic, which is an extra £40 per year, right? So then you're thinking, can I just buy the game for like a tenner? Nope. PlayStation doesn't let you. No, you have to subscribe to play a game that came out 20 years ago. So you're paying £100 for a subscription to play a game that came out 20 years ago. And I think this also kind of plays a part in this as well. Like, these companies, such as PlayStation, they keep doing these consumer unfriendly things. And that's why Game Pass is up here. PlayStation Plus is all the way down here. It's shit. It's complete bullshit. So the moment PlayStation exclusive games stop, I think PlayStation's going to fall off in a drastic way. The only reason people buy PlayStation is because of the exclusive games. Xbox is superior because of Game Pass, and and it's also going to be the future of consoles, because to my understanding, they're trying to create a console that's kind of like a PC, right? So it's a PC in terms of the games you can play, but the convenience of a console. That's what they're trying to make. They are going to get there way before PlayStation, and they're going to overtake PlayStation in every way except exclusives. PlayStation's going to die, I think. And I hope it does. I fucking hate PlayStation, PlayStation can suck my dick with their consumer unfriendly bullshit systems and bullshit games and fucking price increases. £1,000 for the fucking PlayStation 5 Pro when you suck my dick.
Releases this year. Battlefield and Skate are effectively franchise revivals. They are legacy games coming back for an aging audience who loved them, along with some limit.
These games are also coming out on PC, aren't they?
But they're different. And honestly, in an exciting way, because they are both launching with user-generated content tools. Often I think of UGC and I think of some bizarre skibbity situation with a lot of very vibrant colors that makes me feel old and confused happening in Roblox. Well, what does UGC mean for something like Battlefield? I'll tell you what it means.
Yeah, that's
extremely impressive shit, at least based on what we've seen from BF6 so far. So it could very much be that those dynamics work for the audiences of those games, and that if done right, those games could see growth in a similar-ish way. And there is some precedent as well. It's a little thing that we call the modding culture of PC gaming, right? Pretty big. Just that this time,
that's huge, especially in fucking Skyrim and Dark Souls and Elden Ring.
Uses kids to generate infinite revenue. Yeah, moral issues very much exist. But goddamn, what a business model. Turns out just child labor, that's where it was at all the time. Child labor, parents' money, what could go wrong? Now this demographic change opens audiences up to new sorts of experiences. These kids find new modes daily. They play new games daily within their Roblox. Maybe to them, they have an incredibly diverse gaming library and are playing new things absolutely all of the time in a way that you or I maybe don't, because firing up a new indie game, learning a bunch of new systems and all of that, legit just takes brain effort. I mean, for a simple example, it's no wonder that systemic experience-driven games like Peak or Lethal Company take off and then get microtransaction-filled clones in Roblox to get that parrot money. But certain games simply don't matter to this changing audience. Because so far in this video, we've not talked about linear single-player narrative games, which so far do seem to be limited to sad dad games. They just aren't in the equation here. Even though I'd wager those are the games that most people...
Why the fuck are kids going to play this? I'm sorry, what kids are going to play a story-driven game? I skipped every cutscene as a kid. I didn't give two shits about cutscenes. I just wanted to play the game. And every kid is like this. They turn on a game to play a game. So, like, these games are always going to have a smaller audience because they aren't for kids. But games like Roblox, they are for kids. So they're going to have a larger audience. That's like, again, it's kind of like the bell curve I was talking about before.
People watching this channel care about quite a bit indeed. That might be a shocking thing, but it might be the best thing for the games that you love. Okay, think of this. The highest rated network broadcast of 2024 was Tracker. It got 11.34 million views. High Potential and Matlock Revival followed, all exceeded 15 million viewers. Massive successes. But the market is so big that you may not know about them. I literally did not know about any of those things until I came upon doing this video. Now, those shows massively outperformed Emmy-winning things like Shogun, The Bear, The Traders, Hacks, and all of those were outperformed by Squid Game and Netflix, which itself was outperformed by TikTok and social media. But it doesn't mean those experiences are being wiped out, and I think that's where we're getting to in games. When great games release, they aren't trying to appeal to everyone. They are absolutely...
Guys, it is crazy. This game was so fucking good. I'm a person who has never played a game even close to this, right? This game brought me into the genre because it's so fucking good. Like, how did a team of 30 create this? But then you've got a team of like fucking 500 with Concord. This goes back to the thing I was talking about earlier in this video. It's all about incompetent devs. They make bullshit and people don't play them. And then they go back to playing old games or the same fucking two games. Like, these are the kinds of games we have to bring people out of the 2 games. Like, we need more of this shit. We need more of the Elden Rings and Baldur's Gates, and less of the Concords.
What they should be as a game for their people. And if that is so good, it can expand its audience, then we see these games grow, and very often grow massively via viral network effect dynamics, like, say, with Lethal Company. And thinking of critical and public consensus, Expedition 33 is incredible. It is a top runner for Game of the Year.
No,
but if you look at top-selling games of the year and top engagement charts, you won't see
Hey, guys, I'm going to have a bit of a hot take here. This game here, this game was shit. Yeah. Oh, shit. I played this game. Listen, I love World. It's so good. This, to me, felt like just like a DLC to World that had a slightly improved combat system, but everything else was either worse or the same. The content was less. The monsters were pretty much the same. The dragon bird dog thing that you ride around on, it doesn't incentivize you to explore. In World, I explored the world of World because I didn't have some bird dragon to jump fucking like up cliffs, etc. Like, this was like an inferior game in every way but the improvement to combat. This game was great, it just had some problems. This game, oh god. Again, incompetent devs, don't know what the fuck they're doing, overpriced slop. Black Ops 6. Wait, 6? I've not even played this. And MLB, I've never even heard of that.
See Expedition 33. It is in there. 1 in 20 players on Steam or Xbox played Expedition 33 at launch, according to Circana. Slightly fewer on PlayStation. But what we've learned is the market may be expanding and changing, but even now, in an industry that rewards big games and entrenched audiences, those games can still be made. They can still be enjoyed, and that is what matters. And I think the biggest lesson of all of these is that execution matters and that focus matters.
Yeah.
Expedition 33 is everything you would want with nothing that you would not want.
It's also important to keep in mind as well that it's all about the target audience, right? Like, this game had a target audience. It was people who were into like turn-based style games, but it brought in people who weren't into turn-based games, who wanted to try it out, but they still had a target audience. And it's also important to keep it as well that most people who play games are average people, right? They aren't people who are always on the internet, who spend 20 hours a day playing Dark Souls mods. It's people who come home from work and play Call of Duty for 2 hours. So, yeah, they're playing the same two games every day because they have 2 hours to play a game, and Call of Duty is an easy to understand game. This game, it requires you to sit down and just watch and then play, and then watch and then play. So, like, the audience was always going to be smaller for this game, but it's all about that target audience, and can you bring in, like, just a small audience as well?
For a game like that, it is not a bloated, shambling mess, saddled by having to find meaningful work for just a production crew of 300
30 people is all you needed.
Funnily enough, that might mean that it's well executed and that there is strong focus.
Yeah, it always will be.
I think that is going to be the way forward for the sorts of games that many of us would be afraid we're going to stop.
Yes, it has to be. Like, it has to be this way. Like, the more people involved in a game, the higher the probability is that game's going to suck dick. Concord, great example. You got Avowed. Like, how can you go from fucking Fallout New Vegas to Avowed? Again, it's incompetency. They don't know their audience. They don't know what the fuck they're doing. And then you've got, how can you go from Skyrim to Starfield? It's the same thing. It's just bullshit. And they don't know what their audience actually wants.
Now, in this video, you've learned how the gaming market is changing. The demographics have completely shifted. Even how people identify within games has completely changed. And combined with the layoffs, may have you thinking there's a big old game crash around the corner.
I don't think there's a game crash. I think, all right, all these people are being fired because they don't know what the fuck they're doing. So yeah, they're going to be fired because they're fucking incompetent. And they have to be fired, and thank God they are. But games like studios such as Capcom, they're hiring. From Software, they're hiring. Why? Because their games sell well. Why do they sell well? Because they make games for a target audience, and their target audience buys the game. Like, it's not hard to understand this concept. And in terms of like the players, again, it's a bell curve. You start off with your young guys playing phones because it's convenient, and their parents are not going to be inclined to buy a 10-year-old a £1,000 console. That's just, it's expensive, right? So like kids are playing on a phone. But then it goes up about a 16 plus, and then it goes down again about age 50 to 60, all the way to phones again. It will always be a bell curve. I don't think that's ever going to change. So it's like, I kind of agree with half of the things he's saying, but I don't think gamers are dying out. I don't.
Corner. If you want to learn about that, watch this video next.
What's that expert report? Oh, all right. Yeah. Yeah, again, I don't think gamers are dying. But I do think there's a huge problem in the industry with people who don't know how to make a game and how to appeal to a core demographic. And that has to change. Otherwise, they're going to lose their job. It's that fucking simple.